It's a Sunday afternoon, and I just got back from the mall. And let me tell you, that place is shit for talking to girls. Um, I there were some girls there who were by themselves, um, but it didn't seem like they really wanted to talk. So it might have. I went there at 11, so it might have been too early. Maybe I went there at like 2 or 3, like peak time. There would have been more people, but oh man, most of the interactions were just bad. Like, first person I talked to, I saw her just sitting by herself. She was actually fanning herself next to some cafe, some food shop, and it was outside. So all the girls that I talked to at the mall were within the foyer, the corridors. I don't know what you call it, but the public spaces. I think I felt more comfortable doing that rather than talking inside the stores because I don't know. It just felt more approachable that way. Um, and yeah, so the first girl I saw, she was sitting by herself. She wasn't just sort of looking at her phone, but she was cooling herself off with a fan. And, I looked at her and I turned away thinking, oh, like maybe I shouldn't talk to her. But the voice inside of me said to do it, so I was like, I can't back off. That's what my instinct wants to do. So I went up to her and told her, nice fan. Where'd you get it? Like, I didn't really care about the fan. And she was like, got it in Virginia. And I'm in California. I went to West Valley Fair, by the way. And I was like, Virginia, nice. Did you just come from there? And basically, we just chit chat. It lasted probably like 30 seconds because eventually her date came. It was actually a girl. So her fan was like a Pride fan. And when she kept mentioning like Pride Market, I started like got stopped in my tracks. I didn't really know how to respond to that. Not because like I realized that she was gay, but more so I couldn't think of any relevant experiences. So the only thing that came up to my mind was, isn't it Pride Month? And then she said, oh, that's next month. I was like, oh my God, like, just kill me now. Like, she said it like so matter of factly that I think she was like, who is this fucking weirdo? But yeah, that was really bad. And after her date came and I left, I was like, oh my God. I was like fighting imaginary haters in my head saying I was a creep, that I should leave. And I was yeah, I don't know. No, it wasn't a good way to start. But I just kept walking and just kept um, just walking around the mall, doing a full sweep, because I didn't want to go too early, and I felt that I would be giving up too easily, so I at least had some objective to walk the whole place and see every single store. Um, so I kept walking, and I told myself there's nothing to be ashamed of. You're just trying to talk to people. Oh, and one thing that I found really cringe on the first interaction was I didn't ask her what she was doing there. I sort of just completely glossed that over. And so it felt awkward in my head because it was like, it felt too rushed into personal details rather than sort of the situation at hand. And I told myself I would fix that on the next one. So the next interaction, I saw a girl walking along the corridor with like a cute keychain. It had like two marshmallows on it. And so I like walked up beside her and said, "Nice keychain." And when she looked at me, she looked so like not frightened, but like so surprised. And she could like barely get words out of her mouth. I realized that I should have known. I could tell she was like not not from the US. Like she was, yeah. And she didn't seem like the appetite to talk. So that conversation I think lasted 10 seconds because she went to a restaurant. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I felt a little heated after that, not gonna lie, because I was like, these girls or whatever, these people can't even speak English in America. Like, I know I'm being racist, but you live and you learn. Honestly, though, like, that's a different topic, but yeah, that interaction wasn't too good. And then I sat down in like a little central area that had some couches next to a woman who was just chilling there as well. And I noticed her shoes were Onitsuka's. And, I just pointed that out to her, just a way to start a conversation. And I think that was a lot better. She was a lot more willing to talk. She didn't look at me like some freaking weirdo. And she shared her like in Onitsuka's, and I asked her what she was doing there. She was waiting for her family uh, to eat at a restaurant there. And, she had a really positive vibe, which I appreciated. And she was willing to talk. And that really lightened my mood compared to the girl before who seemed like she wanted nothing to do with me. She didn't want didn't even want to speak English. That kind of, bummed me out a bit. So I took that spirit and sort of walked along the mall, and I didn't really find anyone else to talk to until I saw like this girl sitting by herself upstairs, and I took the escalator to try and strike a conversation. And she had like a tong sui next to her. And I was like, "Where'd you get that?" And she seemed like a high schooler because she spoke really quietly and had a lot of like pimple stickers on her face. And very clear from the get-go, did not want to talk. So I try to like save face by actually wanting to go to Tong Sui and get something there and ask her about what order she got. But yeah, that was quite bad. Yeah. Uh, those times, those girls that they're pretty, but they're on their phones and they immediately look bored or annoyed by you talking to them. It definitely gets to me. So I I felt the lion staring at me, and I was like, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. So that didn't last too long. Um, the last conversation was good. Uh, she was just this woman, a bit older, sitting at a table by herself, and I was like, F it, I'll talk to her. And we eventually, talked about random nonsense. She was just waiting for someone, and we had a conversation for maybe like 5 minutes. I was like trying to keep up, because I was the one who initiated. And that's what I talked about, with my therapist, where it's just nice to not have to keep up, to not have to lead. But it is what it is. That's my job. And so I have to do my job. And so I talked to her and eventually figured out that she was actually pregnant, which was good. She was really nice to talk to. She was really energetic. She had all these like quirky facial expressions when she was describing stuff, and so she was particularly amiable and amicable or whatever, and that that brightened my mood, and I was really happy for her. That I don't want to be like a pick me, but I was like I was not happy, but it was nice to learn that she was having her first child, and it would be a girl, and that's just awesome to see. It's good to see people having kids. You know, kids are great. Um, but I didn't. After that, I didn't really talk to anyone, and I decided to just leave the mall after an hour and a half of just walking around and being pretty unsuccessful, I would say. I would not recommend doing that. I would not recommend anyone doing this to find a girl they're interested in, because it just takes a lot of guts and um, charisma and how do you say it? It's like like uh, like instinctiveness. I completely forgot the word. I'm blanking on it, but to just do things on a whim, because a lot of times when you're walking along the corridor, they're walking against you, and so you have like 1 or 2 seconds to think of something to say and to say it. And I'll usually think of something to say right as they pass, and then it just feels weird to just like turn around, and I don't know, maybe I'm making excuses, but uh it's a quick game. It's hard. So it's not the it may be one of the only places you can meet single people, single girls, and who are not like relatively busy, focused on another activity other than walking around. But it is not for the faint of heart. And so decided an hour and a half was enough. I did not want to stay there any longer. And then when I left, luckily enough, I ran into a former coworker. And it was yeah, it was a girl coworker, and she was actually quite pretty, and it was we chatted for like 20 minutes, and you know um got up, I forgot the phrase, to get up to speed, and she said she'd be down to grab a coffee or lunch sometime, and she's like really pretty, but she's sort of like quiet, uh introverted type. So yeah, it was just by you know, luck of the draw that I ran into her as I was walking out. So that made me happy leaving the mall. So, not sure if that'll happen to anyone else. You can't really rely on. Oh, then you can't really rely on that. You can rely on like meeting single people in the mall, but you cannot rely on meeting running into coworkers. That's kind of crazy. But something positive came out of it, so I was happy about that. And now I'm excited to go and have a coffee with her. So, but yeah, that was my Saturday afternoon. I have a date coming up this evening. I'll have to take the train up to SF, and I'll probably do another vlog tonight to tell y'all what that was like. So, all right, see y'all soon.